Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we want to share with you our personal experience having our medical checkups done in Prince Court Medical Center here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
We had heard a lot of travelers talking about this, and we wanted to experience it for ourselves. It's a very extensive health screening when we read about it, and it looked like a great thing for us to do.
We've been out of the US all of 2024 basically, so starting the year in 2025, we figured this was a good time for us to get these checkups done.
Exactly. One of the great things about it is that it's so accessible. We were able to schedule our appointments fully online, have a great website, and the packages are well laid out and described. And to make the appointment, we didn't have to pay anything up front. So we scheduled our appointments for January of 2025. Around October of 2024, and there were plenty of appointments available, but as you got closer to the date, there were not many appointments available. So this is something that we would recommend scheduling well in advance if you can.
Apparently you can walk in and get an appointment, pretty much for the next few days maybe, but we didn't want to take that chance. We really wanted to have this done. So as soon as we knew we were coming here to Kuala Lumpur, we pretty much went online and scheduled these appointments. What was nice is that scheduling so far in advance gave us basically all kinds of options with whatever day and time we wanted. So we definitely recommend a morning time for this test, just to get started and get that done, and especially since you can't eat. For the test. So one of the things that we really liked on their website is that if you go to their website, you're going to see that they have all the packages laid out. So they're going to have, for a well man, well woman, they'll have the prices laid out there, and they're going to show you, like, for those that are, 30 years old, for those that are 40 years old, 50 years old. So then you can choose whatever package you want.
Yeah, now, and we did this, we're in Kuala Lumpur for 3 months. We wanted to do these health screenings early on during our visit, just in case there was anything that was abnormal or any findings that we needed to treat or take care of while we're here. We wanted to make sure that there was adequate time to do so without being rushed. And
on the day of the appointment, it's very easy. You get to the hospital. As soon as you walk in, you're going to see a great big desk at the center there. Mm-hmm. That's your main information concierge desk. That desk is important. That the people that are manning that desk are in charge of a lot. Yeah. They can handle a lot for you. So you'll go straight to them. They're going to point you in the direction that you need to go for your appointment.
Yeah, and talk about a beautiful facility. Oh my goodness, it feels top notch when you walk in. It's a gorgeous facility.
Yeah. So once you get to the area where all of this is happening, okay, it is a designated area. They'll have a waiting room there, and they'll have their own registration desk there. So you'll register there. They're going to give you forms to sign. You need your passport. That is your form of identification. So please bring your passport.
They're going to confirm with you which package as well. At that point, we're under the understanding that we could only do the package for our age range, but we came to find out later on that you can kind of just choose. We're in our 40s, but we could have chosen a more comprehensive and a little bit more expensive package, but we could have chosen the 50s package as well.
All right. And that is one of the awesome things about this, this program that they have, is that truly it is tailored to you. So you can come in and request different things that you want done added to this package. Yeah. So they're very good with flexibility on the packages.
Exactly.
Once you're all checked in, you're waiting in the waiting room for you to be called. What's nice about the waiting room is that comfortable chairs, just easy. There's free Wi-Fi available too. So they just make it very comfortable for you while you're getting all this tests done.
Once this whole process gets started, it's like it's a well-oiled machine.
It really is.
So,
it really is.
First thing first that we had done was the blood and urine sample was taken, which is great because you're fasted, so they take that and get that out of the way right away.
And as you'll see, it really does feel like they are just taking you one by one, just going through all the tests. Yeah. So once we had those, the blood work done, then they take you, it's like you kind of come back and forth to the waiting room depending, or sometimes they'll just take you to the next thing and the next thing.
Yeah.
Then you get vision tests done. So for us in our 40s, it was just a simple, read the letters type of vision test. For some that would choose another plan, might be a more comprehensive test. but that's what we had.
Of course, they check your vitals too. They take your blood pressure. They check your pulse. That's all done at this same time, and it like she said, it's all kind of just happening,
Yeah. And then the hearing test, they take you into a soundproof booth, and sure enough, they're testing you and asking you to press when you hear the different tones. So it's really, really well done.
Yeah, you actually stand on a machine that checks your weight, and it does like a body fat analysis too, which is
so you're holding
cool.
on to some of the handles. I think if you've done this before, you probably know this was, I think, our first time doing this. I don't think I've ever had.
Yeah, I've seen these machines before.
We've
in a
seen
gym.
them before. So you hold on to the handles, and apparently it's supposed to check for body fat. So that's really cool. Then after that, they kind of bring you back. They're bringing you back to the waiting room. There's a main waiting room like outside, but then there's a little waiting room inside. It's not that small, but it's a good waiting room on the inside. And that one is really nice because it's got coffee, tea, water,
they have like
snacks.
Little snacks. They have little the water is actually infused with cucumber and lemon or something, just a little fancier.
So after you get these basic things done, then what happens after that is that you meet with the doctor. So this is the first time you meet with the doctor, and it's really great because he'll do a checkup on you. Your typical hearing you and
check your ears, check your chest, have you breathe in and out, front and back.
Exactly.
Check your, have you stuck out your tongue, check your throat, and but at that point, if there are any questions that you have, any concerns you have, or any extra tests that you might want to order that are not included in your screening, this is the time.
Definitely.
Because the doctor at this point can
add that on.
Ask you why, kind of get an idea of where your concerns are.
Right. Yeah. So for example, in my case, the exam that I got, they say included a mammogram, but it said mammogram or ultrasound. Right. They will always default to a mammogram. I wanted the ultrasound done. So at that point, this is when I had that conversation with him and let him know that I wanted the other test instead of the mammogram. So I ended up adding the mammogram later on anyway, but this was the time that discussion was had. Another thing for females is that there's a pap smear included in the test that we got. So you didn't have to have this. I know sometimes you don't want to have this test, but this is the time to talk to the doctor and he'll ask you whether you want the pap smear done or not. And this is when it'll get done during this checkup time that he's having with you.
There's always a little bit of back and forth to the waiting room, depending on kind of where you are in the testing. There's still a few things left though that you have to go do. So at this point, they actually had her do the stress test, and then they came and got me and took me to radiology. So in radiology, I went ahead and I did a chest x-ray, and that was extremely quick. Then they had me go wait in another area, and I did the DEXA scan, which is the bone density scan. And then they had me drink a bunch of water, and I had to go do the abdominal ultrasound. So it's a lot of water.
Abdominal and pelvic ultrasound.
So that was where they took me, and they actually had her go and do the stress test.
So the stress test, you're on the treadmill, they're checking, you're connected, the electrodes are connected, and you're checking that heart rate as you're going a little faster on the treadmill. So really just pretty straightforward.
Yeah, you're like hooked up to like EKG.
Yes, exactly. You're hooked up to EKG and blood pressure monitoring. Yeah. This was our first time having a stress test done, but maybe others are more familiar with it. Yeah. But it was pretty easy. And the radiology, the same thing. It's just all these tests are done. One of the things, of course, once you get to the ultrasound part, and these are the things that we love about getting healthcare in other countries, is the doctor is performing these tests. So whenever that ultrasound happens, you will have people there, like nurses and maybe a tech. I'm not sure, helping out. But the one who's actually with the machine going through your organs is the doctor. So again, this is another opportunity. It's a different doctor now. This is I guess a radiologist. This is another opportunity to talk to the doctor about any concerns you might have. Of course, they're going to go through and look for things that they need to look up in these tests when it comes to your abdomen, pelvic area, and so on. And for females, the breast ultrasound. But have a conversation with them if there are any concerns here. And this is where you want to do that too. Once you're done with that, basically this is the morning, and you're getting all the tests done.
And this was the end of our testing. for the day. So
Correct.
then it was time to break for lunch.
Right. And they give you vouchers
Yeah.
for 40 Malaysian ringgit, which is about $9 per person for, for lunch, which is
Yeah.
really nice. It's not enough to cover an entire meal.
It's almost enough
but
depending on what you
almost.
order.
Right.
And they have a great, nice cafeteria and a nice sized menu.
Yeah,
Food
it was really
good.
delicious.
The food
Yeah,
was
the
good.
food was really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So we had that lunch. We were able to meet up for lunch, and then after lunch, we were then going to go back. And this is the time now in the afternoon when you're meeting with the doctor and they're going over your results.
It's so awesome because you had all of these tests done in the morning, and within a couple hours, you are discussing all of the results from all of these tests.
Yes.
And I mean, this is one of the big advantages of having this done in another country. I don't think this exists in the US.
We went together and met up with the doctor, and he went over. I mean, they have like a whole, all of your results are in a binder basically, and it's all printed out for you to see. And the doctor is going through each one, letting you know if everything's okay or what you need to look out for.
What to work on.
But he goes through everything, whether it was okay or not.
Yeah.
So he goes through it all.
Yeah.
Again, another opportunity to have a discussion with the doctor. If there are issues, of course, this is when the doctor are going to tell you if there's anything to be concerned about. We're very fortunate, there was nothing of concern in our test.
We're really happy about that.
Yeah.
And it was a weight off of our shoulders. We hadn't been to a doctor in quite a while. And anytime you go through a battery of testing like this, I mean, if something's gonna come up, this is when it's going to come up.
Every time you go to a test, no matter how healthy you feel, and there's always a little concern that they're going to find something. So we were really happy when we got our results and everything
going
was okay.
in. We were a little nervous, of course. They're getting a lot
and
of
like we
tests
mentioned
done.
before, this is the reason why we got this done at the beginning of our stay, because we thought, oh man, if they find something, then maybe we'll have a chance to get treatment here if needed. But luckily, we are good, and we don't need anything.
So far, so good.
So then after you meet up with the doctor, they give you your they go through all the things.
You get your packet, you get your folder.
You go back to the main waiting area at the registration desk, and that's when payment happens, which is amazing to us that they have not collected any payment at any time, and we've just had a whole day of testing.
So it's pretty cool. I mean, so the packages, they vary in price depending on the age package. We stuck with the package for the people in their 40s with our age range. The 40s package was called the Well Male and the Well Female. The Well Male package was 1,500 Malaysian ringgit at the time we did it, January of 2024, which is about $345 US, give or take, depending on the.
And for the female, my package was 1,650 Malaysian ringgit. Which is about $370. Now, I did mention that when I was having my ultrasound, my breast ultrasound, speaking to the doctor, I had my doubts about just having the ultrasound and that's it. So at that moment, I did request to the doctor if I could add the mammogram. It is just an added thing. I know that us females were always so concerned for this part. So it was great. I mean, they were able to add it. They gave me a price, when I asked to add it. So they had given me the price already. It was about an additional 300 Malaysian ringgit, which is $70,
$70. And honestly, they quoted her a higher price when they said, yes, we can add it. It's going to be about this much.
They quoted me around 400, which is still only about $80. But by the time we went to pay, it was only about 300 Malaysian ringgit.
I'm not sure why the discrepancy there, but either way, for this type of testing in any kind of medical setting is typically we're used to a lot higher prices.
Oh, yes.
So for an additional $70 to have that peace of mind, it's more than worth it.
Yes. And again, this is why we keep stressing to you guys that when you meet up with the healthcare providers, when you meet up with these doctors, this is the time to have a good conversation with them and express some of the concerns so that you can kind of get their feedback. And, you want to definitely tackle as much as possible during the screening and not wait till the end or after, because once you do it after, it's different. It works a little different.
So here's a tip. If you are coming here and going to be paying by credit card, obviously, most likely going to be the case, you get 10% off if you pay with MasterCard.
So we want to kind of finish here when it comes to the health screening.
Yeah.
The health screening is amazing. It's an incredible value.
It is.
It's a well-oiled machine. They know what they're doing here. They do cater to an international community, but we did see locals getting the test as well. So now that part is awesome. Now we're gonna switch where things get a little different, and you need to just be mindful and know about this. Okay, so we're done with our screening. Now what we wanted to do, again, like I mentioned, we've been out of the US for about a year and we have not had health screenings done. So we wanted to see a couple of specialists. We wanted to see a dermatologist and get our skin checked, for that annual screening of that. We had some personal concerns, so I wanted to see a rheumatologist and
I wanted to see a cardiologist.
I wanted to see a cardiologist. So we went up to the desk and we started requesting for a dermatology appointment. What's amazing about these appointments, if you need follow-up or to see other doctors and a specialist, is that the appointments are available the next day. So like if you walk up to that concierge counter and say, hey, I would like to see, a cardiologist, she'll ask you, okay, tomorrow?
Right.
And they'll get an appointment for you for the following day, which is insane.
Actually, I mean, same day.
Sometimes even the same day if you get there in the morning.
What time you get there,
So we came back. Now this is all separate now. This is nothing to do with the health screening. When we came back to see the dermatology department, you go in through like a separate area, which is fine. It's all very nicely done. You check in, they have your appointment.
You check in and they give you a little receipt with a number. And then those numbers are shown up on a couple of different screens. And when your number is shown, you can head into your appointment.
Now this was a disappointing experience for us because we are used to seeing a dermatology doctor in the United States, and basically what our experience in the past have been that the doctor goes in there with his
magnifying glass,
like a magnifying glass,
like they're
and
checking
they
you over.
go through your entire skin, checking for everything, and they're finding moles. And of course, if you have a concern for an area, they can look.
They'll look right away and say yes or no. And then a lot of times, in my experience, dermatologists have found things that I wouldn't even be concerned about. So this, in our case, wasn't.
It was very clear to us when we went in together that he was not going to do all of that.
Wasn't going to do a full body check. It was basically, what are your concerns? And then we kind of showed him spots.
Right. So then that's when we exactly said, okay, doc, take a look at this, take a look at this, take a look at this. I want to make sure that this is okay. And we're thinking maybe these areas, these little moles that we're not sure about, maybe they need to be removed. So we had to point things to the doctor. He wasn't really doing a full check.
Now, the price of the doctor seeing the doctor, that's not a big deal. This was, for every specialist that we saw, this was the common theme, about 260 Malaysian ringgit, which is about $60 US to see a specialist, to see a doctor.
Very affordable.
That's extremely affordable to step in and see a specialist next day or even same day. That's amazing. Amazing.
Yes. Yeah. But for example, in our experience, when it came to this dermatology appointment, we wanted one mole that we wanted removed. First of all, it would be a completely separate procedure for a different day, even if possible. Like we probably could have gotten squeezed in that day, but it didn't seem like it.
Yeah, they were alluding to the fact that we would need to come back for another appointment for that removal.
For that alone. And they quoted us a range of 1,800 to 2,000 Malaysian ringgit, which is about
$400 to $450 per mole.
Per mole.
I mean, that seemed to us excessive. And
luckily we only had one mole that you were concerned about, and I only had one mole that I was concerned about. So we thought, wow, $400 to $450 per mole, that just seemed excessive. So
it seemed too much. So in the case of dermatology, what we're gonna do is just moving forward, we're gonna look for a dermatology specialist or a dermatology clinic and go there.
Outside of the hospital. We think
Yeah.
that maybe the hospital, being in the hospital setting,
think so.
played a role here.
Yeah.
But we just felt these prices were a little bit high, and we just thought, wow, I can't believe that I just had an entire health screening with so many tests done by doctors that is less than one mole removal for dermatology. So we were disappointed here, and we just decided, okay, we're not going to pursue any more dermatology, here.
Next up, though, like she said, I wanted to see a cardiologist, and I actually didn't go in with an appointment. The morning of, I had just decided, you know what, I'm gonna go see a cardiologist. We're here, now is the time. We walked in at about 9:45 in the morning, and I got a cardiologist appointment for 11:15 the same morning to see a cardiologist. Again, it was about 260 Malaysian ringgit to meet with a cardiologist, $60 US. And my goal was to get an echocardiogram, but I met with a cardiologist and he made it clear from the start, which is actually really cool. He said, look, you had your health screening. I told him my concerns, why I wanted to have the echocardiogram. He looked at my screening, he looked at the stress test, he looked at the results from the abdominal ultrasound, and he said, look, you can get the echocardiogram done. The price to have the echocardiogram done was about 900 to 1,000 Malaysian ringgit, which is $200 to $225. So anyone who's had an echocardiogram, or in the US especially, that's actually extremely affordable to get an echo done. Another family member back in the States had these tests done, and just to have the abdominal ultrasound and the echocardiogram was almost $2,900 US. And the insurance did not want to pay for this, even though there was some family history and there was good reason to have this testing done. So just for comparison's sake, the pricing is very, very hard to argue with to get these procedures done. But the doctor was really cool with me. He's like, look, I understand your concerns, but looking at your tests, looking at everything that you had done, there's really no need for this. We're more than happy to do it, but there's no need. He said, I'm sorry that we have to charge you for the doctor's visit for me to tell you that. But it just gave me some peace of mind for the $60 that it cost. I actually did not have the echocardiogram. I had had one done a few years prior, so I felt at ease just moving forward, not having that done, and just having the abdominal ultrasound that was included in the screening. So that was just a little extra peace of mind that,
Correct. And for me, I had a concern about a little bit of joint pain that I have been having, and I'm, paranoid, thinking, oh my gosh, it could be rheumatoid arthritis. And so I wanted to see a rheumatologist. And very similarly to him, when I met with a rheumatologist and she checked me all out, she asked me a few questions. I looked at the lab results from my screening. Luckily, sure enough, after looking at my things, she basically said, you do not have rheumatoid arthritis, so you don't have to worry about that. And one of the things that we really, really appreciated from these specialists was that they basically told us, you do not need tests. You are fine, you're okay, you don't need the test.
It would have been really easy for them to say, yeah, go ahead, have a seat.
Exactly, and charge us for
the
all
extra
these
$200, $500 each, whatever the case would have been.
Exactly.
But they were nice with us. They were honest with us.
They were honest, and I really, really appreciate that. So our only disappointing experience was with the dermatology department here, and we felt overall everything was so fair.
Yeah, we did.
Now, we have some friends that we met up with here in Kuala Lumpur that we know from the States, and they were also getting some tests done as well.
They had the whole house screenings done.
They also had the screenings.
But they had additional.
Right. And they actually wanted to have colonoscopies done, which, may be of interest to some of you. Colonoscopy here, obviously the whole procedure, it costs them about 5,000 Malaysian ringgit, which comes out to about 1,100 USD. And that's for the whole thing, the doctor, the prep prior to the procedure, after procedure and all of that. So still, I think that is probably very affordable. We did not have that done, but very affordable prices to get some of these procedures done that in the US tend to be a lot higher.
And I mean, obviously we're paying out of pocket, we're paying cash, we're not using insurance. So that's, just keep that in mind as well.
So all of this information that we are providing for you guys, we are going to put as much of it in the description. So feel free to go in there and click to get more information regarding all of this that's available here in Kuala Lumpur. Now, the total we spent, so just the health screenings alone for both of us was about $785 US, which is incredible.
That's
okay. Now, I am a registered nurse in the United States, so I am familiar with a lot of these tests. I am also familiar with some of the, practices in the hospital, and I can tell you guys that this is impressive.
It is. It would be next to impossible to throw just the screening alone, to package all of those tests together in a month, let alone in a one-day, few-hour package, and then sit down the same day and go over those results with a doctor.
Yes.
I mean, you would need multiple referrals from multiple doctors just to get some of these tests that we received.
Yeah,
Really,
really amazing here. Really, the facility is top notch. The service was great. The staff is knowledgeable and professional. This was a great experience for us. Now, like we said, we did spend a little bit more seeing a specialist. So that came out to an additional about $300 more.
About $250 more. Our total spend for our Prince Court experience was $1,030 US, right around
so about 4,500 Malaysian ringgit, give or take a little bit, but really $1,000. I don't know that anyone can go to a hospital nowadays for $1,000 in the US.
No, not at all.
So,
and these screenings are going to catch something. If there's something going wrong with you, it's likely that these screenings will pick up something.
If you are visiting Kuala Lumpur and you haven't had a health screening done in a while, this is an amazing place to do it. We are happy to hear that other countries are doing something similar like this. I believe Turkey's doing something like this. Thailand is doing something like this.
And I know there are other options here too. There's another hospital called Glen Eagles that offers a similar screening. I don't know the details. We kind of just went straight to Prince Court. So,
we did. And one other thing that is very easy here is the language. Pretty much everyone speaks English, so that is really helpful too. You don't have to worry when you're trying to, communicate your concerns.
Everyone was very sweet. Everyone was very professional, and like we said, they just move you through this testing extremely efficiently.
Yes. So we hope that this helps you guys understand a little bit of what to expect when coming to Kuala Lumpur and having a screening like this done, and also what to expect if you need additional, care from another physician, or if you're looking for a specialist to do more. This is, it does vary. The screening is kind of like done a certain way, and it's great. But there may be some areas that are lacking here, like our dermatology experience wasn't great. But everything else, we really felt that this was really top notch.
Yeah, and it was very easy to take care of everything we needed to take care of. We hope you guys enjoyed what we had to say. This is, this is our opinion and our experience there. And share the video, like it, leave a comment below, subscribe to our channel.
And slow travel with us. Bye.